What a heartbreaking loss in Motown. Coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast, Seany J and I look at the Lions' devastating loss versus the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. Hey, he's back with another iPride profile on a Lions legend. And we break down the Lions' all-time team announced Sunday at halftime. All this and more coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast. Watch out. Here comes that roar. What up, though? And welcome to the Die Hard Den podcast. This is Kurt Steele, and as always, I'm with my man, Seany J.
What's happening, people?
All right. It was a heartbreaking loss in Motown on Sunday. The Lions played their hearts out. Couple plays here or there. Could have went either way, but I'm happy with the effort, but we'll get into all that later. However, can't win them all. We took the L on Sunday, but we took what most people consider a Super Bowl contender to the brink on Sunday. So I'm actually proud of their effort. So what do you got, my man, on that right quick?
I'm happy, too. Our offense can hang. Our offense moved the ball against KC. Offensive line kind of took a step back, in my opinion. We gave up 4 sacks. I was getting greedy. I wanted to see Stafford untouchable, non-touch, but Chris Jones, he got through. The Honey Badger got through on a blitz. The offensive line gave up 4 sacks, and we get any. And I have a beef on the defense, only rushing 3 pass rusher. I want we got quarterback sacks. So
we'll get into that. But you know how we do at this time. We always start the show with "Tell me something good." So, my man, you up first. Tell me something good.
Well, my tell me something good is for promising rookie T.J. Hawkinson. He did some kind of silly and foolish in the game. We all saw it. We tried to leap over that KC defender, and the guy grabbed his leg and twisted him around and forcing TJ to come down awkwardly on the side of his head and shoulder and looked bad. He lay motionless for several minutes. The training staff all came around him, surrounding him. It brought up memories of Mike Utley. That's not cool. But, afterwards, TJ sat up. They brought the cat out. He sat up in the cart. They gave him a ride out. He returned to the game. He's in concussion protocol. However, he should be okay because the report was he didn't have to go to the hospital after the game. He's feeling fine. He's in good spirits. And he wasn't put on an injury reserve list. Hopefully, he'll be ready for the Green Bay game in 2 weeks on Monday Night Football. So, TJ, please don't do that again. If you do, did you see the picture I posted in the group of Billy Sims Classic?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You bring yourself out of Billy Sims, 1983.
Do the Kung Fu Billy kick. I hear you, my man. All right. So this week, my Tell Me Something Good is about the Lions and the community outreach they keep going into the community. 4 Lions hosted the game of the week. It was a game from Royal Oak Shrine versus Bishop Foley, and 4 players were the honorary captains. Kenny Galladay, Christian Jones, Tavon Wilson, and Will Harris were the honorary captains for the game. They gave out some swag to the people that attended the game, and they continue the excellent outreach in the community. So big shout out to the Lions and the 4 players that hosted the game of the week. And also one interesting tidbit in looking online today on Twitter, the Lions at 2-1-1 are the 4th team in the power rankings for the USA Today for the NFL section. So the Lions are doing something right. They are number 4 in the USA Today. Most other polls, they are around 11. I think ESPN 14, middle of the pack. But in some power rankings, they're in the top 10. So they're showing their worth. They're playing hard. They're resilient. And I think it's going to be a good rest of the season. The first quarter being 2-1-1. I'm not mad at that. Most individuals, really, if you look at some of those preseason rankings, they had the Lions going on 4 or at least 1-3 in that first quarter of the season. So moving on.
had them going 0-11 to start the season.
Wow.
First 7 games. You saw that.
Yeah, I did see that. That was definitely something where we need to address that. So the Lions have said they're not taking no mess this year, and they're here to compete. And one thing for sure is that Matt Patricia has changed the culture in that locker room, bringing in some players that know what he's about and know his system, and the other players are picking up on it. And with the new offense, things are going to take off. Now it is time to go on the ball. Now let's talk about the Lions offense during the game. And as always, the offense starts with my man behind center, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford played a decent game. You know, he had the one fumble, but he went 21 of 34 for 291 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 118.6. I believe he outdueled Patrick Mahomes. He spread the ball around. 10 different receivers caught a pass during that game. So what do you think about my man Stafford's performance in the game on Sunday?
I love Stafford. I've always been a Stafford supporter. He played a good game, efficient game. I'm sure he won a lot of people some fantasy points or in the fantasy league with those 3 TDs.
He got me some. Exactly. I started him.
He lost the fumble, but after they were robbed of that touchdown, that wasn't Toya's fault. And once again, that brings me to the offensive line. The offensive line, they didn't play as well as they had prior 2 weeks. They gave them 4 sacks, some pressures to Kansas City. Now, I know Kansas City's line is tough, but if we're going to beat our best offensive line in football, we got to beat the best. And our interior line, especially Dahl, Graham Glasgow, and
Kenny Wiggins.
Not Kenny Wiggins, dog. And the center Wagner. Yeah, they had a tough time on Sunday against the Chiefs. They had a high PFF for the game. I don't know what their PFF was after the Kansas City game, but to me they didn't play as well because they didn't protect Stafford, where he got sacked 4 times. But Kerryon Johnson had a good game running the ball, and besides that fumble, he was very careless with the ball on the goal line. You just don't lie on your back in the pile like that and stick the ball out. That was stupid, Kerry. I'm sorry. You're a great talented player, but you should know better than try to mess like that. That was too risky, too dangerous. They got So, but back to my man Stafford, he played efficient. He led the team to victory. He led them to the game-winning drive. You know, the nice touchdown pass to Kenny Wiggins. But like I said, in the group of defense, they couldn't get a stop when we really needed it. And we'll get to the defense in a minute.
Yeah, Kenny Galladay did catch that touchdown. All right. So speaking of Kerryon Johnson had a very prolific game on the ground. 26 carries for 125 yards. He averaged almost 5 yards a carry, and he caught 2 passes for 32 yards, which is 16 yards per catch. From my standpoint with the offensive line, they took a step back in the passing game, but it took a step forward in the running game because this is the first 100 yard we've gained all season, and we took advantage of a vulnerable Kansas City defense against the run. And, 125 yards from Kerryon Johnson is a really productive day. They took a step back in the passing game, giving up 4 sacks. However, Stafford did have a pretty decent game passing the ball, almost 300 yards passing. Now, he did lose those sacks, did push his stats back to 261. He lost 30 yards on sacks. The offensive line, they opened up some good holes for Kerryon Johnson, but they did allow those 4 sacks. Like you said, they need to definitely protect the franchise. But I like the way that they run block this weekend. Kerryon Johnson has some good holes to go through, and so did some of the other backs. With that being said, what do you think about the running part of the offensive line, my man?
Yeah, the run game looked fine. Even J.D. McKissick, he made some nice runs, and so I just McKissick guy. The Lions they increased their team speed in the secondary. We talked about that many times about how the secondary has gotten faster. We'll get in that in a minute. We talk about the defense, but the run game, the running backs, they got faster. They cut C.J. Anderson, who was a big bowling ball, short yardage guy. And we got 4 guys who weren't small. They're not the Rich Rodriguez 180-pound scat back type running backs. They got pretty good size, y'all, over 200 pounds, and they have good speed. And we like more like Michigan offense trying to run speed and space. They picked up J.D. McKissick on waivers from Seattle because he has good speed. Danny Amendola, he didn't play, but, he has pretty good speed at this point in his career. Kerryon has good speed. Ty Johnson has good speed. So yes, our 3 of our running back. No, I'm not too too sure about Paul Perkins, but three of our running backs have great speed. And
Right.
so we traded size for speed at the skill positions, and Patricia likes them big at the on a line and linebackers. Even though we're getting this from me, we talk about defense. Reeves Maven, he has good speed. He has a great size, but good speed. And remember, I talked about that. You won't get too big. Because the issue a couple years ago about the Lions where they lack speed on defense. They had a bunch of slow guys. So you got to find a fine balance. But I mentioned in the group that the Lions have gotten faster in the secondary and at the running back position.
Correct.
So, but the offensive line, I'm a big offensive line man. Yeah, we block well, run block was good. Well, I prefer to protect the franchise. I want to see the franchise quarterback get hit at all. Like some games, Tom Brady, this uniform thing dirty because he never gets hit. Now, even after throwing the pass. That's the point with the Lions. The best offensive line is the Dallas Cowboys, Patriots, Eagles. People say in the past they can both protect passer, protect quarterback, and open holes. The Lions want to get to the point where they can do both efficiently.
Right, I feel you. Looking at the wide receiver core, very efficient. Like we talked about earlier in this segment, that Stafford spread the ball around to 10 different receivers. Really, the most prolific day, in my opinion. Kenny Golladay definitely made some great catches. Now, I will say those 2 touchdowns he caught were great catches. The one at the end with the toe drag swag was an awesome catch. He high pointed the ball, grabbed it with his hands, dragged that foot, and was able to get in the end zone. But that first one that he caught was an absolute rocket from Matthew Stafford. Split in between 4 defenders. Many quarterbacks in the league wish they had the talent to make that throw. And Matthew Stafford did it with ease. Good game from Kenny Golladay. Marvin Jones had another excellent day catching the ball. It was a good all-around effort from the receiving core. I really don't have anything negative to say about the receiving core. What do you got, my man?
Yeah, I'm just happy Kenny Williams must have listened to you. You must have sent a message to him on
Kenny Golladay?
Yeah, Kenny Golladay. Yeah, excuse me, Golladay. You must have sent a message to him. Don't toss the ball away so quickly after you catch a touchdown. It gets scary, because that worries me because he did have a Calvin Johnson moment on that first touchdown they took away. So I think he realized that too. I think don't be so quick to throw that ball away after you catch a touchdown pass. Hold on to it for at least a good 5 seconds, 5-second rule. And then you can spike it, throw it away, throw it in the stands, whatever you want to do with it. Or make sure it's official. The official raises arms. And one more thing about the receivers, like I said, the Lions have increased their team speed. When they got that guy Melvin, where he came from, he has pretty good speed. He's been around for a while. He's had a rookie.
Marvin Hall, he definitely had a great catch that over the shoulder down the sidelines and able to keep both feet in. That was a phenomenal catch. Good throw by Stafford. Stafford was dropping dimes all over the place. So, yeah, that was definitely a excellent play by Marvin Hall. One thing I did like is that Darrell Bevel, he caught an aggressive game. I mean, start to finish, they were on attack the whole game. And that's the way that the Lions should play the rest of the season. It doesn't matter what team they're playing. They need to be aggressive in their play calling and go for the jugular. That way, there's no doubt in anybody's mind what's going on the offensive side of the ball. Don't play passive, play aggressive, play to win. Don't play just to hold on to the score. I want to see them run the score up. So there's no doubt in anybody's mind who won that game.
And don't leave it up to the officials to decide for you either.
Right. That's definitely, you don't want to do that. And we talked about my man Hawkinson, he in that concussion protocol. That touchdown he made was a spectacular catch as well. I mean, Stafford just kind of found him. He sat down in the end zone. He made himself open, gave him a good throwing lane to make a pass, and he caught a touchdown. It was just got to keep himself on the ground, my man. Just keep your feet on the ground. I would say he's a bigger guy. Try to run the guy over. Don't jump over him. Just lower your pad level and ball the guy over. That's just my opinion. You got the size. You can run over any of those smaller defensive backs. If they tackle you, they tackle you. But please keep yourself on the ground, man. None of this jumping over people, making this spectacular play. I think that play started in college a few years ago, and people were just trying to adopt it in the NFL. I know it's spectacular and it looks good, but it is a detriment to players' health, and somebody's going to get seriously injured going up in the air and getting flipped on their head or neck.
Or just protect yourself a la Billy Sim Kung Fu kick,
The Kung Fu Billy kick. Now, you might not want to do that because you might get a personal foul.
Yeah.
And get a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct and might get tossed out the game. But we'll talk about somebody else who we'll get into when we're 2 points converse and talk about another player who's just, I don't know what's going on with that guy, but we'll we'll get to him later on. So let's get to the defense, my man. Now it's time to defend the den. Let's talk about the defense. And the guy I want to talk about who is taking really the league by storm this year, Tracy Walker, is a tackling machine. He led the Lions again on Sunday, 12 tackles. He had a few for a loss. Tracy Walker has become a hitting machine. He is up there in the league lead in tackles. I think he's top of the league for safety tackles. What do you think about my man Tracy Walker and how he's playing this season?
I like Tracy. He's the reason why they Glover Quinn walk. They felt Walker was ready to play, ready to step up, and he's made some plays. He's made like a good tackles. To me, I still want him to make some more plays. Maybe I'm greedy. Maybe I'm too unreasonable. Tell me if I am. I want to see him shut down receivers, get more picks, and shut down receivers and let nobody catch the ball. Because I saw a few times where a receiver beat him on passes, and I want to see him be a shutdown safety. No pass and get by him. He's either going to pick it off or knock it down. Am I being too unreasonable when I say that?
Well, I understand what you're saying. However, you have to look at the offense. I believe that Kansas City came into the game with a good scheme where they knew how the Lions play defense and they knew it's tough to throw the ball deep on the Lions. So they ran a lot of crossing routes, and those crossing routes create natural rubs or picks, and that lets the receivers get a little more open than we would like. I get what you're saying. You want him to play more aggressive and tighter man coverage so he can knock some balls down or intercept them.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I think he's playing good.
Yeah, he is. I want to see him play all-pro Hall of Fame level.
Well, he's gonna get there. He's only his third year in the league, so you got to give him a little bit of breathing time. Man, everybody ain't Sean Taylor. It can come in the league and change the game. He's still kind of learning the game right now, but he's a good athlete. He's got good size. He can tackle. Like I said, he's leading. He's up there in the league lead with tackles at any position, but I know he's at the top of the league as a safety in tackles. Now, another guy who stepped up and had a pretty good game was Tavon Wilson. Now, he stepped up big after Quandre Diggs went out with a hamstring injury, and he was second on the team with 11 tackles. Tavon Wilson played a pretty good game. Didn't let a lot of things get past him. He was good in the run game. Tavon Wilson, I appreciate the effort. He stepped up. He says, hey, I'm still here because I know we talked about it in the preseason that we thought Tavon Wilson was going to be run out of town by some of the younger talent. But the Lions kept him on, and he's showing his worth, not only playing special teams, but really being that third safety on the field, especially when Quandre Diggs went out with the hamstring industry.
Yes, he's played well. He did, he was viewed as being a prime cap casualty this offseason, but he stuck around. I think Patricia likes him before he coached him in New England. He can still play. He has some offer, but I do miss want to see Diggs, but we already missed Slay, who sat out the game with injury, and Quandre Diggs. He's our honey badger. He's our Palomalu. I really love Quandre Diggs. Hopefully he'll be ready to come back in 2 weeks as well for the Green Bay game on Monday night, as well as Deshaun Hand and TJ and a few other guys we have out. So
right.
And once again, we'll get into it and more. If you talk about the defense, I still keep going back to that article about how the Lions have one of the faster, if not the fastest, secondary in the NFL, and it's showing.
Okay. All right. Now, one thing that was a bright spot before we get to the dark side of the defense, a couple more things that I like that was positive. The defense caused 3 fumbles. You had Agnew with a punch out. You had Coleman, and that play with Coleman, he waited until the guy got off the ground, and then he punched the ball out. And Trey Flowers with a strip as well. 3 turnovers. I like the differential. We actually won that one. We were +1. We gave up 2 turnovers and actually had more caused more turnovers. I like that fact that we are being aggressive. They're punching the ball out. They want to turn the ball over, and they're actually succeeding in that area this season. So what do you think about them causing those fumbles?
I love it. I love the aggressive defense. Coleman actually victimized Sammy Watkins twice when he stole a touchdown from him and knocked the ball away out of his hands, and when he knocked the ball out for a fumble recovery deep in KC territory. So I really love the aggressiveness. I love the strips. I love getting turnovers. I want to see us get some more interceptions and more quarterback sacks. I want to have an awesome Pittsburgh Steelers circa 1970s or Chicago Bears 85 type defense. I want to see a defense continue to be aggressive. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, Justin Coleman was another bright spot. He had 2 pass defense, and that one was in the end zone. And he actually, KC settled for 3 points. And after that play, and he had 4 tackles with that forced fumble. Coleman played a hell of a game. Big shout out to Justin Coleman. He's proven to be worth the money that we spent to bring him to Detroit. Now, let's get to the negative. We still struggle against the run. Now, the Lions had more rushing yards than the Chiefs, but we still gave up over 100 yards on the ground to the Chiefs. I just don't like that. And that was a strong suit for us the second half of the season last year. This year, we're just not settling down right now. We have a few people that's hurt in that interior line, so you can't keep them as fresh. If you look missing Mike Daniels, and we're missing Deshaun Hand in that middle of that defensive line. So the rotation's kind of shorter, but we want to get Snacks more involved. I'll be happy when we can get Mike Daniels back and also Deshaun Hand, so we can keep that rotation fresh and get some better run defense in there. However, Trey Flowers has a good PFF score against the run this year. He is doing his thing, but we have to get that interior of the defensive line better. Now, another thing that may be causing us to struggle against the run is that Davis is still getting back into football shape because he spent a lot of time on the bench. So hopefully he'll run into form here after the bye week, and we can get him rolling when we go into, when Green Bay comes into town in a couple of weeks for Monday Night Football.
We're going to Green Bay on Monday night.
Green Bay, that's right, I forgot. And I like the fact that we're going to Green Bay early this year instead of going late where it's the Ice Bowl up there in Wisconsin. What do you think about the run defense there on Sunday?
A little disappointing preseason. I thought the run defense will be, solid, if not impenetrable, especially if they sign Mike Daniels. Hasn't quite worked out the way because Daniels, he's hurt Philadelphia. Hopefully be back soon. I don't know if he's going to play at Green Bay. Hopefully be back soon. They say it's not a season-ending injury. We could really use him. With Deshaun Hand, we could use him too. To me, Snacks, he's not making the plays he did when he first came over to Detroit last year. I don't know why that is. Maybe Kings are double or triple teaming him. But I think once we get all the guys healthy, like especially Hand and Daniels back, and Ashawn Robinson has been playing well, I think we'll be fine. It's going to take some time. I'm sure they'll make some adjustments over the bye.
Right. Now, that was an egregious miss on the penalty, actually, that against Snacks at the goal line on that winning touchdown.
Yes.
The offensive lineman was choking Snacks from behind. How do you miss that call? I don't see it. I don't see that. How do you miss that call?
Right there, yeah.
Right, he's right there, standing in the back of the end zone. I don't see how they. And there's line judges because it happened on the goal line.
Yeah.
Where is the referee to see that chokehold is blatant hold on Snacks Harrison down there, which would have pushed that ball out to the 11 and which could have possibly changed the outcome of the game.
Who knows?
So, right. Now, we talked about this a little bit off air. You said that you definitely would like to see more sacks on Patrick Mahomes. I think the Lions played a effective type of defense on Mahomes because they made him throw from a stationary platform. If you look at Patrick Mahomes, he throws better on the run. He makes spectacular plays with his feet. If you get him moving, he's more effective. If you make him sit back there in the pocket and actually throw the ball, he struggles a little bit. You can see when he had to throw from the pocket, he was overthrowing the ball. His rhythm was out of whack, and they were pressuring him, but they were making sure they stayed in coverage. That was a good plan. However, that we didn't win the game. Was it the excellent plan? No, it was good, and it gave some teams a blueprint on how to defend the Chiefs going forward.
Yeah, I like being aggressive. I like going on taking the opposing quarterback's head off. I love the quarterback sack. I don't like that, prevent or, rush three passers, 3 rushers. I don't like that. I want to go after aggressive. I like to see the blitz. I love to see us kill the quarterback. I love the quarterback sack. I love the home run in baseball. I love the slam dunk in basketball, and I love the quarterback sack in football. So,
all right, I hear you, my man. All right, let's round up the defense. One quick little note on the special teams. Prater, perfect day, 3 for 3 on field goals, 3 for 3 for extra points. Martin had a pretty good day punting the ball, 3 kicks for 131 yards, a 43.7 average, and a 49 long. He had one where he really downed them down there within the 20-yard line. Now, overall, the Lions played a good game against one of the top teams in the league, and they hung in there tight. In my opinion, the Lions are the real deal for this season going forward. What do you say, my man?
I agree with that, but we gotta close out games. We got, like I said, we can't get conservative. We can't get conservative on offense or defense. We gotta stay aggressive on both sides of the ball. And it may not be their style, but I wish that they would, buff quarterback more, with lessons and pass rushes, instead of just rushing three guys, rush the standard four at least, and send a blitzing linebacker. I remember reading an article last year that Paul Pasqualoni, the Lions coordinator, said that quarterback sacks aren't a big deal. It's about getting pressure. That doesn't make sense to me. Quarterback sacks aren't a big deal. Talk to Deacon Jones or Reggie White or anybody about, to tell them that quarterback sacks are not a big deal.
Well, if you look at that traditional Patriots or the Matt Patricia defense, most of your quarterback pressures and sacks come from linebackers, not defensive linemen or defensive ends. But Devon Kennard is having a decent season. He's up there in sacks. For the Matt Patricia defense and the Bill Belichick school of, you play situational football. And if you have a line that's going to be able to block, so the Lions are going to play coverage because that's the defense, what it calls for. But if they have a line that they're playing against is susceptible to the pass rush, then he's going to send some blitzing linebackers in. It's just something we're going to have to get used to in Detroit as far as Patricia's defense, where even in those defenses, like we said a few minutes ago, that the linebackers are the ones who bring the pressure. The defensive ends or defensive linemen, they play containment with the run, and they want to keep the quarterback in the pocket and let those linebackers run back there and create havoc. Once they call some blitzes, I think once we get a little bit more into the season and the situational football changes, we'll see some more blitzing linebackers from the Lions, my man.
Hope so.
All right. So with that, it is time to go to 2 points conversing. Now, in 2 points conversing this week, I'm going to start it off, and you tell me what you want to talk about after we get done with this topic. Vontaze Burfict out of the Oakland Raiders made an egregious hit on Jack Doyle and got suspended for the rest of the season. This guy, he's almost been suspended a whole season in his career for his dirty plays. Now, he's up for appeal tomorrow. Now, he's with the team in London, and I think this is going to stand. People talk about Ndamukong Suh, but Ndamukong Suh has nothing on Vontaze Burfict. He's just been a headhunter. He's caused concussions. To me, he's just a dirty player, my man. That play does not belong in the NFL. I mean, he's trying to hurt people. To see him lower his helmet into Jack Doyle's helmet was ridiculous. Him blowing kisses to the fans, going off the field after he could have really seriously injured or ended that young man's career is something that is really classless and should really cost him his football career.
It was bad. So this guy never learned, he hasn't learned his lesson yet. I mean, once a snake, always a snake. They still saying leopard never loses spots or tiger loses stripes, whatever the saying goes. Vontaze Burfict, he's been a dirty player since high school. I mean, he's been making those in college too, and in the NFL. He's been doing the same shit, excuse my language, his entire football career from the beginning. Probably in Little League too. A dirty player. That's one of his lessons. He's not going to stop. I heard Mike Greenberg, formerly Mike and Mike, his own show now, Get Up. He said that Burfict should be suspended in the league permanently, never play NFL again. And that just might happen. Maybe unintentional, because once he gets suspended, no team will ever sign him to a contract. The Oakland Raiders, they take chances on, historically, have taken chances on players with questionable histories in the past, but on the Raiders or the Cincinnati Bengals, who are known for the same thing. Who can you play for? So this Burfict may have just NFL career, never play again, because all this is, like I said, this is the 14th time he's been suspended. That's got to be some type of record.
He almost has a whole season that he's been suspended from the NFL with the games. I would say this, to his credit, he is an excellent football player. He's just stupid. I mean, what's that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome? I mean, that's ridiculous to keep playing like that. And he's better than that. His talent is better than that. He is an excellent football player, and he doesn't have to play dirty. He can play clean and still be a Pro Bowl caliber, all pro caliber linebacker. And just the stuff he does to me is just, for lack of a better word, again, stupid.
He's another Bill Romanowski. Remember Romanowski? He was very dirty.
Yeah, Romanowski. And I was saying a little bit ago, people complaining about Ndamukong Suh, and Ndamukong Suh never did these hits Vontaze Burfict has done. Yeah, he stepped on a player, tackled the quarterback a little hard, flung him to the ground, but it wasn't never where he hitting the guy in the head, causing him concussions. He could have ended Antonio Brown's career a few years ago, and he could have ended Jack Doyle's career on Sunday. So, to me, good riddance, Vontaze Burfict. You got what you deserve.
And before we move on, you may have seen this post I made in the group, and I made this post in other groups. If you're going to suspend Burfict for life, you should suspend the coach, Greg Williams, for life too, the dirty defensive coordinator, sometimes head coach. He's been known every place he's been to teach his defensive players to try to purposely injure offensive players. Even remember this season when Odell Beckham Jr. accused him of trying to injure him when he was with the Giants and played the Browns. And now Odell's with the Browns, and some Browns players confirmed what he thought. Yeah, Williams told us to go after, he probably not get the game for injury. So to me, that's just as dangerous. And I thought after the Bounty Gate suspension that Greg Williams and the other guys involved never should have been allowed to work in the NFL again. See, Williams hasn't changed either. So if you're going to suspend or blackball Vontaze Burfict for life, you need to give Greg Williams a lifetime suspension as well. That's my thing. I don't like that.
I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, my man. All right. That's 2 points conversion this week. We're going to go to the break, and when we come back, we're going to have another Our Pride profile on a Lions legend, and I am so excited about this guy this week. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back from the break, and my man Seany J bless us with another Our Pride profile on a outstanding Lions legend.
Yes, Curtis. This week's Lions legend profile is for you. You asked for it by Papa Jermaine about a place kicker, one of the better place kickers in NFL history and Sterling Lions history. Ladies and gentlemen, children, before there was Matt Prater, before even Jason Hanson, the best kicker in Lions history was one Mr. Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray was born in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada on August 29, 1956, was raised in Vancouver, British Columbia. And while there, he played many sports. He played cricket, and he played fearless rugby, and he played tennis, but he never played football because at the time his team didn't have a football team. He played a little junior football after high school, and he was working in a lumber yard. He had no intentions on a professional career. However, while playing amateur football, he was noticed by the coaches at Tulane University at the football camp. They gave him a tryout. He impressed the coaches so much, they offered him a 4-year scholarship on the spot to play for Tulane University down in New Orleans, Louisiana. Down at Tulane, Murray was a kicker that started kicking all 4 of his seasons there. He set all types of Tulane scoring records. He was all South. He was all conference many years. And when he left Tulane, he was an all-time leading scorer. In 1980, the Lions made Eddie Murray their 7th-round draft pick as he replaced the great Benny Ricardo, who was, I love that name, Benny Ricardo, Ricky Ricardo. Remember Benny?
Yeah.
Anyway, Eddie Murray is a rookie. He made All-Pro. He led the Lions in scoring. He made the All-Rookie team. He was a Pro Bowl kicker twice for the Lions in 1980 and 1989, almost a decade apart. But he was one of the most reliable kickers during the 1980s for the Detroit Lions at a time where, especially in the latter half of the decade, where the Bill Rogers regime was kind of sorry. This is similar to like they were under the Matt Millen regime. Sorry, folks, but I got to keep it real. Yeah, but despite his reliability, he missed one of the biggest kicks of his life, which let him playing style. About, of course, the playoff game against San Francisco, December 31st, 1983. Could have gave the Lions a victory, but he missed a 43-yard field goal. That's what he's best remembered for, unfortunately. But I think he's a much better kicker than that. Eddie Murray's last season with the Lions was 1991. Thus, the next year they drafted Jason Hanson with the second-round pick in 92. So the writing on the wall was there for Eddie. They wanted somebody younger and with a stronger leg. But Eddie continued to play for the next decade for several teams. For instance, in 1992, he split time between Kansas City and Tampa Bay. In 1993, he played for the Dallas Cowboys, where he won the Super Bowl ring. In 1994, he kicked for the Philadelphia Eagles. In 1995, he kicked for the Washington Redskins. He sat out the 1996 season, but returned in 1997, kicked for the Minnesota Vikings. He sat out in 1998, but returned to the Cowboys in 1999, before finally finishing his career in 2000 with the Washington Redskins. So Eddie Murray, one of the best kickers in Lions history, still the second all-time leading scorer behind Hanson, and still lived in the Michigan area with his wife and young daughter. So there you have it. Eddie Murray, your man.
All right, my man Eddie Murray. One of my earliest really memories of watching Lions football is Eddie Murray around that Billy Sims era. So I love the profile. I appreciate that, my man. Big ups to my man, Eddie Murray. All right. Now it's time to go to Now You Know. And this week we have a topic that was a big part of the Lions game this Sunday.
Now You Know is brought to you by Foster Camera Solutions. For your home or business security needs, call Dan at Foster Camera Solutions for a free estimate at 248-672-8640 with no monthly fees and self-monitoring from your smartphone, computer, or tablet. Let Foster Camera Solutions design a security camera system that fits your needs. You can also visit their Facebook page for more information at facebook.com/Foster Camera Solutions. Remember, Foster Camera Solutions when securing your home or business. What up, though? This is Kurt Steele, and welcome to this week's edition of Now You Know. This week, we're going to cover Section 2, Article 1 of the rule book, which is declaring a dead ball. Now, in the Lions' loss to the Chiefs, there was a play where the Lions thought a dead ball was declared, and it was not, and a fumble on the goal line was ran back for 100 yards for a touchdown. This is the same officiating crew that a previous week had declared a dead ball that cost the New Orleans Saints a touchdown on a similar play. So, as always, let's hop to it. We're going to read the rule and break it down for you. Article 1, Section 2, dead ball declared of the NFL rule book states, an official shall declare the ball dead and the down ended, 1, when a runner is contacted by an opponent and touches the ground with any part of his body other than his hand or feet. The ball is dead the instant the runner touches the ground. A runner touching the ground with his hands or feet while in the grasp of an opponent may continue to advance. Okay, let's break it down. If his elbow, wrist, his forearm, the knee, the shin, the calf, any parts of that body, his butt touches the ground other than his hand or foot, the player is down and the down has ended. Or 1, when the runner is held or otherwise restrained so that his forward progress ends. That means forward progress has halted, the player is running, the defensive player or players has stopped his progress. So instead of letting the play keep going, and to avoid risking injury, the referee will blow the play dead. Next, 2, when the quarterback immediately drops to his knee or simulates dropping to his knee behind the line of scrimmage. This is the old victory formation. Quarterback takes a snap and drops to his knee, or he simulates that to let some seconds run off the clock and then drops to his knee. In either instance, it is a dead ball. Okay, note, if that quarterback does not immediately drop to his knee and is contacted by a rushing defender and it is unavoidable, it is not a foul for unnecessary roughness if the defender contacts that quarterback. It does not constitute unnecessary roughness unless he makes a contact with the quarterback's head with his arm, shoulder, forearm, or helmet. Okay, moving on. When a runner declares himself down, the play is going to be whistled dead. And they do this by 1, falling to the ground or kneeling and clearly making no immediate effort to advance. This happened a couple years ago in the Lions-Rams game where Todd Gurley was running toward the end zone. Instead of going in to keep the clock running, he just slid down around the 1 or 2 yard line. Or 2, sliding. When a runner slides, the ball is dead the instant he touches the ground with anything other than his hands or feet. That's when the quarterback is sliding, or like we said in the previous instance, when Todd Gurley decided to keep the clock moving and he just slid down. The play is also dead when a player runs out of bounds. We know this to be true. That is a common rule in the NFL, that a play is dead when the runner or the ball goes out of bounds. When an opponent takes the ball that is in the possession of a runner who is on the ground. If he's on the ground, the play is already stopped. So you cannot strip a ball if the player is on the ground. When a forward pass, illegal or legal, is incomplete. That means the play is over. Once a pass is incomplete, the play is dead. When any legal kick touches the receiver's goalpost or crossbar, unless it scores a field goal. Well, if it scores a field goal, it's a dead play anyway. However, it's not arena football. If it touches the goalpost, it is a dead play. Even if he misses the kick or not, you cannot be returned if it touches the goalpost. When the ball is loose and comes to rest anywhere on the field and no player attempts to recover it, the official covering the play should pause momentarily before signaling that the play is dead. Any legal or illegal kick is awarded to the receivers, and any other ball is awarded to the team in the last possession. When awarded to a team behind the goal line, the ball is placed on the 1 yard line. So if a player just drops the ball and it just sits there, and be it an offensive, defensive player, drops the ball, the team in the last possession is awarded the ball if no one attempts to recover it. Now, if it's a kick, scrimmage kick, or, just a punt, and it sits there for a while and no one attempts to grab the ball, then it is awarded to the receivers. Plain and simple. When a touchdown or touchback, safety or field goal or try has been made, after that, the play is dead. You cannot keep going after one of those plays. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's in the rule book. When any receiver catches or recovers the ball after a fair catch signal, valid or invalid, has been made, provided the ball has not been touched by an opponent before or after the kick strikes the ground. So, the player calls for a fair catch, or like say if in a kickoff and the player just kind of lets the ball go into the end zone after waving his hand, or after a punt and it goes into the end zone, the ball is dead. Provided that another player hasn't touched the ball and it strikes the ground, play is dead. Kind of self-explanatory, but it isn't. So if a player signals a fair catch and catches it, ball is dead. If it goes over his head into the end zone, the ball is dead. Okay. When an official sounds a whistle erroneously when the ball is in play, the ball becomes dead immediately. So if a referee blows an erroneous whistle, the play is marked dead and the down is over. When a fumble is recovered or caught by a teammate of a fumbling player and the fumble occurs on a play that is subject to the 2-minute or 4th down fumble provisions in the rule book, which is 8-7-5 or 8-7-6, which we are not covering in this, but we'll get to it when we cover fumbles later on in this series. Okay. When the ball is out of bounds, a play is dead. If a loose ball in a play strikes a video board, guard wire, sky cam, or any other object, the ball is immediately dead and the down will be replayed at the previous spot. Let's get into this one right quick. This is what happened a few years ago when Jerry World opened up AT&T Stadium out there in Dallas, Texas, and they had that big video scoreboard in the middle of the field, and punters was kicking the ball into the video scoreboard. Or you have the sky cameras that were invented by the XFL, and now the NFL uses them, and they have these cords that run along the field on wires that zoom back and forth. If the ball touches those wires or any part of those video scoreboards, it's automatically dead, just because of the fact that was a unintentional interference on the field. The down will be replayed. Okay, and lastly, for safety reasons, the referee can blow the play dead. If a runner's helmet comes off completely, for safety reasons, to make sure that player is not injured and hit in the head and his head is unprotected, the referee can blow the play dead. So there you have it. Article 1 of Section 2 of the rule book, the dead ball. If you don't know, now you know. Like my man Biggie Small said, baby, baby. Now let's get back to the Die Hard Den podcast with my man, Seany J.
All right, we're back from Now You Know. And one thing we want to do right quick is go over the Lions all-time team that was announced on Sunday. Now, if you were not at the game, you didn't have the opportunity to look at the list. I got it off of the Instagram page because it actually isn't on the DetroitLions.com page. But let's kind of go over what we're looking at for the Lions all-time team. Now, the first name on the list is my man, Al Bubba Baker. Next, you have Lem Barney, Benny Blades, Lomas Brown, and the defensive tackle, Roger Brown. What do you think about those first five guys? The first five guys, most of them have already been on our prior profile, my man, Seany.
Yes, I love the picks so far. I have no problem with any of those guys. I'll go on the Lions all-time team.
All right. Then you have the safety, Drac Christensen, quarterback, Dutch Clark, which if it wasn't for him, Matthew Stafford would still be wearing number 7.
Right.
You have wide receiver, Gail Hodgel. Yep. You have defensive tackle, Lou Creekmore, cornerback, Jimmy David, Don Dahl, the safety, the guard, Gover Ox Emerson, your man, defensive tackle, Doug English.
Yeah.
The center, Ed Flanagan, another center, Kevin Glover, kick returner, my man, this Mel Gray.
Yes.
The other kicker in Lions history, Jason Hansen. Then we have Megatron bringing in, and then Alex Karras rounding out the first part of the list. And we know you have some strong feelings about Alex Karras, that he think he should be in the Hall of Fame, and I agree with you on that, my man. So that first half of the list was some very big names, my man. So we're going to have some, if that's the first part of the list, we must have some really big bombshells on this other side of the list.
Right, because if you listen to them in alphabetical order, and let me say about one thing about Karras. Yes, he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's really the true Lions all-time leader in quarterback sacks, because he has unofficially, because quarterback sacks was not a record kept at the time he played. He has 97. He's been credited by Lions historians with 97 and a half career quarterback sacks off the Lions. That's 2 more than the official leader, Robert O'Shea, has, who another one of my favorite players.
Right.
You know, he's an all-time 1960s team. He should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. The only thing keeping him out was that year-long suspension for gambling, but Paul Hornung got suspended the same year, 1963, for the same reason as Karras, also gambling. But of course, Hornung's in the Hall of Fame, so should Karras should be in there too.
All right. Now, let's go over the second half of this list. The original 81 on the Lions, Dick Night Train Lane.
Well, I did a profile.
Yeah. And actually, this is a segue on this. I saw on Fanatics today, Dick Night Train Lane jersey on fanatics.com. So you want to get those good throwbacks. I've seen a few out there. And Dick Night Train Lane was just popped up today, so don't be surprised if you see me popping up on Facebook with one of those Dick Night Train Lane jerseys. All right, safety / punter Yale Yari.
Yale Larry, yes.
Yale Larry.
Old school from 50s and 60s, yes.
Big time quarterback Bobby Lane.
In the 1950s, one of those 3 titles, yeah.
Right. Cornerback Dick LeBeau.
We talked about him, the Lions all-time leading interceptor.
Mike Lucci.
Oh, yes, he's a great linebacker from the 70s.
Your man you did last week, Herman Moore.
Or Calvin Johnson. There was Herman Moore, who was the Lions all-time leading receiver before Calvin.
Fullback Nick. Peter Asante.
I'm sorry, you faded out. Who was that again? Nick Petersante?
Yeah, Nick Petersante. Yep.
Yeah, he played with the Lions in the 60s and 70s. He was a pretty good player for him.
Then you got your man, Robert Porcher.
Definitely. You know Porcher from the 90s and early 2000s.
Right.
The Lions' official all-time sack leader.
Then you got the 2 Sanders, Charlie and Barry.
Oh, yeah. I think I did profiles on both of them. Barry was the first one I did the profile on.
Yep. And of
course, you know who he is. And Charlie, he is still the greatest tight end in Lions history. Phil Hawkinson proves otherwise.
Right. And then you have the big fullback. This is my guy right here, Corey Schlesinger.
Yeah, Corey was always a fan favorite.
Yeah.
He doesn't have many yards in his career, but he was always a hard worker. He was a great blocker, pretty good receiver. But, he was always a fan favorite, definitely, because his hard play, hard-nosed play, hard-hitting style.
Then you had your linebacker, Joe Smith.
Definitely, Mr. Lion, the Hall of Famer.
Yep.
One of the greatest middle linebackers in NFL history and the former Lions coach.
Then you had Harry Sewell.
Harry Sewell, yes, he's an old school player for the Lions.
Yeah.
Back in the early days of 30s and 40s, he's old school.
Then we got Kung Fu Billy Sims, my man.
Before Barry Sanders, Billy Sims was the greatest running back in NFL history. But his career was way too short.
Yeah, those injuries to his legs, definitely. Then you got the great linebacker Chris Spielman.
Oh, definitely, Lions all-time leading tackle.
Now you have Dick Stanfield, which is a guard.
The old school, once again, he played back in the day in the 40s, 50s.
Then you have a man, Doak Walker. That's one of the greatest running backs in the history of football.
Yes, back in the 50s, early 50s, he won the first 2 titles with the Lions. Yes, he played in the early 50s.
And Alex Wojciechowski. Yeah, Wojciech. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think Wojciech. I know you're talking about. Yeah, he's the old school player who played, I think, in the 30s for the Lions.
Yeah, and I skipped his name on purpose, but he's the only active Lion on the list. Quarterback number 9 in the program, number 1 in your heart. Matthew Stafford is on the all-time Lion list. I think it's deserving. He has all of the Lions' passing records. So, very well deserved, my man. And if you don't know his real name, John Matthew Stafford is his name, but he goes by Matthew. So shout out to all those individuals who made the all-time Lions team.
Well-deserving list. Those guys deserve it. They gave their heart and soul to this organization. Now, the exception those who may be deceased that you name or couldn't make it because of illness, injury, because we know a lot of them are old.
Mm-hmm.
We got to make amends with Calvin Johnson. He definitely wasn't there because there's still some heat between him and the Lions. But, I hope they can reconcile soon. I want to see Calvin back in the Lions family where he belongs.
Right. And the Lions hosted a fantennial on Saturday. So a lot of people who don't know those Lions legends had a chance to meet them over the weekend before the actual game on Sunday. So Lions class act hosting all those Hall of Famers, those who are Lions legends, those who are in the Hall of Fame or the Ring of Honor, they all showed up with their jackets on, or even if they were not in those two clubs, they showed up to the fantennial and they showed up on Sunday to get recognized by the Lions. So now it's time for us to go ahead and get on out of here. My man, Seany J, tell the people how they can find you on social media.
Well, I'm on Facebook all the time. My name's Sean Jennings. I'm the admin of the Detroit Lions Truest Fan Group. I'd love to add you there. I keep everybody well posted on everything Lions, keep them up to date, even in the off season. So hit me up, and you want to join the group, let me know that too.
Now, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Curtis Steele 14. That's CurtisSteele 14. You can also tweet the show on Twitter at DieHardDenPodC1 or email the show if you have any questions at dieharddenpodcast@gmail.com. And as always, we appreciate you listening in to our show. We try to provide you with some good content. And like I said last week, I'm in school, but classes are slowing down right now. So I'll be able to post some more fan polls and over in Detroit Lions Diehards Facebook page. I'm a member over there as well as the Truest fan page. And I'm also a member of several other Lions groups. It's not hard to find me on Facebook. So if you're in the Lions Facebook fan groups, you're able to see me. I'm all over the place. And as always, this is Kurt Steele. And for my man, Seany J, we are out.